All right, we should be ready to go now. Welcome, everybody. Sorry about the delay. There was a problem with trying to sign in on YouTube. So you should be able to see the live show now. So if you can at least let me know in the comments section that you are seeing everything A-OK and you can hear me, that is awesome. My name is Chris. This is my channel, We Love Comics. And this is my live auction. Now, for those of you who did not see the post I just posted, I am actually going to be, at the end of this auction, I added 3 more comics that have not been discussed and were not in the sneak preview that I'm going to be doing at the end of this video. They are all 3 big boy comics. One of them is a Grail comic, a first appearance of either a major character or major team. So I will leave it at that. So the last 3 books, if somebody needs a 6-month payment plan instead of the 4-month payment plan, they can do that. But remember, any payment plan, you have to make the first deposit within 24 hours. So make sure you contact me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com if you need to do that. All the others, anything from $599 and up, you can get up to a 4-month payment plan. I charge no interest on anything because I want to make this easy for people to get a opportunity to maybe own a book that they wouldn't have been able to buy otherwise, and they'll be delivered as soon as their payments are done. Obviously, even if you say you need a 6-month payment plan on one of the last 3 and you want to pay it earlier, well, you'll just get the book earlier. So make sure you watch until the end, because if you think you saw all the books, wait until you see the last 3 that I'm putting up for sale. One I tried selling a while ago. The other 2 I've never attempted to sell. So they are big boy books, so be prepared for that. So while we're waiting, if you could see right there, if you want to write it down, I accept Cash App and Venmo, also PayPal. You can also send a money order or cash. I always recommend money order. I had one person send me cash, but God forbid if it got lost in the mail. I mean, I wouldn't recommend that. But if you live near the Tampa area and you want to save money on shipping, and you want to meet me in person and come towards me, I have no problem with that. I've had people do that in the past. Andrew says, are the new 3 graded? All 3 are graded. And 2 of the 3 are CGC books that I bought probably in 2016 and 2017. So years and years ago, I bought these. One of them is a PGX book, but yes, all 3 are graded. Every book is graded except for the first one. I like to sell graded books because it just makes it easier. So, I don't have to say, I think it's this grade. It ends up being something different, and then somebody feels bad. So if you want to hit the like button, that's awesome. If not, that's totally cool. Come join the live chat regardless. Make sure on the top left-hand corner of the area where you're chatting, especially if you're going to be placing bids, make sure you set it to live chat and not top chat. Because top chat, for some reason, some messages may not be visible. Now, if you are going to bid, just make sure that, like, for example, let's say Amazing Spider-Man #1. If you're bidding on that, just put ASM1 and then the bid. Now, if you want to write this down, there are bidding increments. So, if an auction starts between $49 and $499, it's $5 increments. You can bid more if you want. Like if you want to try and say, I'm getting this book, and you want to do more than $5 increments, and you want to go for the, go for the jugular right away, you can. From $500 to $999, it's a $10 increment. And anything that's $1,000 and up is a $25 increment. This way we're not spending 6 hours on a particular book. Now, if you are bidding and you get to the point where that's as high as you're willing to go, if you can be kind enough to say you fold, it will let people know, and then I will basically do a countdown of about a minute if there's only one person left bidding, to see if anybody else wants to join in. Now, unless you've purchased from me before, if you are a winning bidder, you have to make a payment or you have to pay for it in full before you can do a bid on something else. Now, another thing that I want to mention, even if you're not watching this live, I highly recommend watching the video, because probably 80 to 90% of my sales of my auctions either happen before with the sneak preview or after the auction has already been finished. I've had people a day or two afterwards contact me and say, is this book still available? So I will give people up to 1 week after this video uploads, so up until next Sunday, to contact me on any one of the auctions that either did not sell or somebody did not honor their bid, and you can go with the minimum amount that I am listing it for. Or if you think there are more people interested and you want to make a higher offer and make me not want to contact anybody else, that's perfectly fine and up to you. So make sure you watch this all the way through. This is a good way to earn your Power Viewer or Ultra Power Viewer badge. So with that being said, we are going to turn on the video camera. Oh, and you see the comics scrolling on the bottom. Those are not for sale. Those are books I'm looking to acquire via trade. So if anybody has any of those books or knows anybody that has an AF-15, for example, that they are looking to trade for a bunch of other different comics, I have many books that I would be willing to trade for any or all of those books. So again, contact me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. So if you've already ordered from me a couple of times before, like for example, Daniel, you've ordered from me so many times, you don't have to worry about paying right away if you want to make multiple bids. Same with a couple of others, like Trade Paper Dad. You don't have to pay right away, unless you want to, of course, to be able to bid again. So it pays to be a purchaser of mine repeatedly. Now, the books will be sent within 48 business hours of payment completed. It's usually within the next day, unless, of course, it's the weekend or something like that, or you pay later on at night. They will be well packaged. And remember, my prices do not have taxes on them. So keep that in mind, that even if you see something on eBay for the same exact price, I don't charge tax. So one of the things that I do that I don't think anybody else does in their auctions, even ones that are not comic book auctions, I always tell people, check on eBay, see books for the price that they have sold for, and if they don't have any sale, I go by what's the lowest price that somebody is selling the book for. Now, 2 or 3 of these books that I have, especially one of them, is a one-of-a-kind piece, so there's nothing to compare it to. But I always encourage people, so you could see that I am one of the lower when it comes to key issues. So every book has significance to it in one way, shape, or form. I don't sell like comic runs of generic comics for 30 bucks. I'm giving you the stuff that people want to collect. Because remember, you have to spend money to make money. So with that being said, let's put on the video camera, and I'll show that from time to time in case people did not write it down. So let's get ready to rumble. So if you want to bid, come join into the live chat. Let's say hello to some of the people that are here. Andrew Jensen is here. Collector's Inventory is here. Let's see who we got. Party Game Time is here. We got Joey Lane, Drunk. And GT Key Comic, one of my moderators. He's been commenting for the past 24 hours, so that's always nice to see. So let me put this information once again in the live chat, and let's get this ready to rumble. So, here we go. Now, of course, I will give people plenty of time. Mighty Comics and Collectibles is here. Good to see you, sir. All right, so make sure you're in live chat, not in top chat. So I'm going to go in the order that I had the sneak preview, but remember, I added 3 books at the end. All 3 of them you would consider either personal grails, or one of them maybe 2, depending on the person, but 1 is absolutely a grail. So let's get this party started. So we're going to start our first book. This is the only one that is not graded. This, of course, is the first appearance of Dazzler. It's Uncanny X-Men number 130. Now, I'm going to give you what I believe the grade to be, but always keep in mind when it comes to an ungraded book, you know, there are no guarantees I'm going to get it right. But if you watch my PGX grading videos over the past 6 years, I'm pretty confident and fairly close, especially when it comes to mid-grade and lower grades. Now, this one, in my opinion, is about a 6.5 to 7.5 range. It may be higher than that, but I would rather be conservative with the grade. So this way, if you grade it, I'd rather it go up than down. There are no tears. There is, I don't know if that's part of the artwork or that's a color break. I think that's a part of the artwork. Because as you can see, there's sparkles all over the place. If anybody has actually, you know what? I think I have another copy somewhere. And then I could see it. Give me a second. I know it's right over here. Somewhere. And then we won't have to guess. Looks like we may have to guess. I moved a bunch of stuff around the other day. Alright. Apparently... Oh, duh. Okay. So it actually is not a color break increase, because you can see I have another one. Now, they're cut differently, but you can see that right there, there's that same little white line. So that is actually one of the many sparkles that you see on the cover. So that actually is not a color break increase. So, there are rumors that Taylor Swift is either going to play Lady Deadpool or Dazzler. Now, I'm going to start the bidding on this on only $49. So the first person that makes the bid, the next person that bids, even if they do the same price, would have to go up by $5. So I am making sure that people, make sure you're in the live chat, because you're in top chat, you might think you're first when somebody else in fact is. So this, in my opinion, is about a 6.5 to 7.5, probably higher, because I did base it on the fact that I thought that was a color break. That is not a color break. That is actually part of the artwork. I'll show the edges. There are no color breaks. There are no tears. Now, the biggest flaw, if you want to call it, is some kid at some point wrote their name on Dazzler's legs. So that's why I'm putting the grade a little bit lower than what I think it could be, because I'm not sure how much that will decrease it, but it definitely will affect it as far as even if somebody has issues with that. So the rumors are that Taylor Swift is either going to play Dazzler or Lady Deadpool. Let me tell you why I believe it's going to be Dazzler and not Deadpool, Lady Deadpool. Lady Deadpool wears a mask. So it would be, why bother having somebody that will cost a lot of money to play Lady Deadpool if probably a lot of the time she's going to be wearing a mask? As you can see, Dazzler does not wear a mask other than a little eye mask, so you can get away with that. Now, Daniel, are you saying you're bidding? Because I want to make sure, because as you're a moderator, I want to make sure you're just not reiterating what the price is. Make sure anybody bidding put it in capital, all caps. So Daniel, just in case, if you're not bidding, don't put prices so this way it doesn't confuse people. If somebody wants to ask what the price is, I'll make sure I talk about it. But like I said, I really think that Taylor Swift, I mean, she's a singer for Christmas sake. If she's going to be playing anybody, this is the character, in my opinion. Now, that doesn't mean I'm right. She could play Lady Deadpool. But in my opinion, Lady Deadpool wears a mask. So they could basically hire anybody to do it, and she's going to be hidden behind a mask, so why would you need such a high-profile person? And Dazzler was a singer. Taylor Swift is a singer. So when they make the announcement, if it's Lady Deadpool, this book is going to plummet. If it's Dazzler, this book is going to skyrocket. So I'll leave it up to you, and that's why I'm putting it as a very affordable price. Okay, so Daniel is bidding. Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because I've had moderators in the past that were actually telling people what the price was, and I thought it was a bid, so I wanted to make sure. So we do have a bid, so this book is going to sell, because let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, I was talking about him before. Daniel has ordered for me so many times. I have absolute trust in him that if he makes a bid, he's going to honor it. He sends me money orders all the time. He is one of the most reliable people that I've ever worked with, and so I can tell you right now, even if you're watching this later on, this book, unless somebody else outbids him, this book is going to be sold. So right now, the bidding is at $49. You would have to go in increments of $5. You can go higher if you want. But like I said, I'm saying this grade is about a 6.5 to 7.5. Again, it might be higher. I don't see any major flaws with it, but I would rather be cautious. I'm not saying it could come out a 9.8 or anything. Agent Smith says 130 will spike soon. Good time to buy. Exactly. And the reason I'm selling it is I have a nicer copy, which is probably in the mid 9s, probably a 9.2 at least to a 9.4. So I could easily wait to see, and if Taylor Swift ends up being the Dazzler, this book is going to double. So I could easily turn around and I could have saved it. But I want to, first of all, you got to sell books people want to be able to make some kind of money. Because like I tell people all the time, I've been unemployed since October. So this helps pay the bills. And also anything extra that I get, I'll buy more comics, which makes more videos, which entertains you all. So, yeah, Agent Smith says, looks about right. Typical CGC 7.5 condition, 6.5 to 7.0 is a strict grade for that. I like to try and be honest. I'm not going to try and say a 5.0 book is a 6.5. If I'm going to be wrong, I would rather it be wrong and you grade it and it's higher. So right now, I'll give it another minute for people to think about it, but this book has a bid at $49, plus, of course, plus shipping. Make sure you realize that if you bought this on eBay, even if you found one for the same price, there is no taxes in this one. So we're going to give it about another 30 seconds. Otherwise, Daniel is going to be getting a super deal on the first appearance of Dazzler. So again, I'll do some close-ups, especially with a book that has a majority of the black in the cover. Okay, so we have another bidder. So right now, Andrew Jensen is at 55. The edges, I'll show the edges. You can see they're pretty sharp. And I'll do as slow as I can. That's what she said. So you can see the condition of this book. It is complete. No coupons taken out. And again, look at the corner. You can see a tiny, tiny bit of a scrunch. But I mean, you're talking millimeters. I'll go across the bottom so you could see. Yeah, and it does have deep colors in it too. I'm not going to sell garbage unless it's valuable garbage. So we got two bidders. And by the way, it is a newsstand, by the way. All right, so Daniel is folding. So we'll give it another minute. Right now, Andrew Jensen has 55 for it. Yeah, and I make sure I show everything. So the edges are clean. The corners are sharp. Like I said, the bottom has a tiny little dent, if you want to call it, I would say minuscule. So right now the bidding is only $55 for this book. So we'll give it another 30 seconds because I always like to have people have the chance. Go look on eBay. And remember, if this ends up having Taylor Swift as the Dazzler, this book will double overnight. So Agent Smith is saying newsstand. Now that's a bargain at anything under 80. So there you go. So in case I didn't mention it, it is a newsstand. So we got 55. We got 20 seconds left if you want to bid. Make sure you're in live chat. And again, this is the first appearance of Dazzler. I'm predicting it about a 6.5 to 7.5. Corners are sharp. Edges are sharp. I don't know if I went across the top, but let me show you. And again, that is not a color break increase that you're seeing right there. That's part of the artwork. So you could see there's no fringes, no wrinkles. All right, last chance if you want to bid right now. It is going to Andrew Jensen at 55, unless we have a last-minute bidder. So, X-Men number 130 going once. X-Men number 130, first appearance of Dazzler, going twice. And we have our winner. Congratulations on that. Let me just write down that information if you want to write this down. So we got it sold. Andrew Jensen. You got a great deal on that. $55 plus shipping. Make sure you contact me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. Shipping for that book, I'll do it a little bit lower. It's $14.99 to ship it. It will be priority mail. It will be well protected. You can ask Daniel. He's ordered for me dozens of times. So it's $14.99 for that book. All the graded books are $19.99. And what did I put? $2 each additional. And I will do internationally at $49.99 and $4 additional if you get more than one book. So congratulations on that one. X-Men number 130 has been sold. So let me just make sure I write that down, and we'll get to the next book. So everything from here on out are all graded books. So keep that in mind. Now remember, I'm going to make sure I keep telling people, stay until the end, because there are 3 books that I did not put in the sneak preview. One of them is a Holy Grail book. I promise you that. So here we go. Let's get to the next one. Let's put on the video camera. So everything else is graded. I believe all except maybe 1 or 2 I graded myself. So you don't have to worry about any switcheroo kind of deals going on here. Andrew says, I am local. I have met you in the person. Oh, okay. Yeah, if you want to meet me in person, pay cash for it, and you want to save on shipping, I don't blame you one bit. So that's not a problem at all. You can contact me later at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. So let's get to the next one. Next book. Bidding will start at only $199. We have Fantastic Four, number 18. It is graded a 2.5 off-white to white pages. This is the first appearance of the Super Skrull. Now, we all know the TV show did not do well. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. But when you're talking the Skrulls, and now that it's going to be going into potential situations with movies, I'm sure they'll use the Skrulls again. They have a chance to redeem it. But remember, movies don't make or break the value of a book. It can rise and lower the price a little bit. But, you know, remember, Fantastic Four number 1, X-Men number 1, Journey into Mystery 83, all those characters, if they made bad movies, you're not all of a sudden going to get them for $5. You'll get some dips, but that's when you take advantage. Remember, buy low, sell high. So this book, and I will go over it because it does have grader's notes. I'm one of the few people out there that has grader's notes right on the book. Well, not on the book, but you know what I mean, on the slab. So this bidding starts at only $199 plus shipping. So if you want this, you could just put FF18 and whatever bid you want to start with. Junk Drunk says Madam Web is bombed at the box office big time. Yeah, that's not a shocker to anybody, to be honest. So I'll give people a minute to look this up, and if anybody wants to look and see what the cheapest one that's selling for the grade, because this is a 2.5. Again, this was graded by me. It was raw when I bought it, so you don't have to worry about some switcheroo. I'll show the back, and then, of course, I will read the greatest notes, because, of course, when you're talking a lower grade book, there's going to always have problems with it. But as I say all the time, Low grade is better than no grade. And keep in mind, whatever price you see these selling for or sold for on eBay, that does not include the taxes that they charge. You don't have that here. So let's go over the greatest notes, and we'll give people a minute or two to ponder over if they want this book or not. So it's got multiple stress lines along the spine. You know, that's to be expected for a 2.5. It means it's been read. Significant cover, edge, and spine wear. Minor edge, tears, and chips. Water stain, and weak spine. So the water stain is this little spot. Where is it? In the corner. See right there? It's about the size of my finger. And there's a little bit, like, in between there. I'll try and close it up. But again, for a 2.5, and it's off-white to white pages, I mean, you're going to get that. It's a Stan Lee story, Jack Kirby art and cover, origin and first appearance of the Super Skrull. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, the Fantastic Four is coming to the MCU unless they totally destroy it, which, you know, knock on wood, let's hope they're not that stupid. You know, but the Fantastic Four books are going to become more desirable. So I'm going to give this 30 seconds. If nobody bids, that means somebody that's watching this later on can contact me if they're interested in this book. Again, I'm starting the bidding at only $199 for this book. And it's the first appearance of the Super Skrull. Show the back one more time. All right, so we're not going to hold on to this forever. If somebody last second wants to bid, they can. Going once. Going twice. And no sale for this one. That's all right. That's one of the things I'm perfectly fine with. If something doesn't sell, I can put it back in my collection and watch it increase in value over time. So, like I say, I always sell key books, so they might go down, but they'll definitely go back up again, and the time to buy them is at the dips. But people may be waiting for some of the other books. So let's get to the next one. Bidding on this one starts at only $295, plus, like I said, plus shipping. We've got mid-grade book. This is Strange Tales issue 107 with early Submariner and early Silver Age Human Torch. It's Fantastic Four cameo. This is considered a classic cover. Stan Lee story, Dick Ayers, and Steve Ditko art, Jack Kirby cover. So this is a 5.0 cream to white pages. So this is considered a classic cover. Bidding starts at only $295 for this book. And again, it has grader's notes, so I will go over it. It actually looks nicer than a 5.0. Now, I don't know if this is a mistake or not, but it says Sook variant cover. So unless there's something I was not aware of, that might have just been an error on their behalf. But I did want to mention that. If there is such thing as a Sook variant cover for this book, hey, you know, that would make it even more valuable, but I don't think so. I think that's just a mistake. But look how bright red the colors are in the Strange Tales. So I will go over the greatest notes, and again, give yourself time to look up books like this. $249 plus shipping. You do not have to worry about paying taxes. So, the greatest notes say multiple stress lines along the spine. You already noticed that with a trend of mine, because I'm like, if I'm going to have damage in the book, I'd rather it be on the edges where you can't see it. There's glare. Cover, edge, and spine wear. Slight stains on front cover. 1/4 inch spine split at top. Browning and browning interior cover. So on the back you can notice there's a little bit of browning. Page quality on this. Hey, Amazing Murphinator, good to see you. Cream to white pages. I've seen that before on many graded books, even plenty of CGC books. Probably what happens is somebody might have been reading it at one point and left the page open, and it got a little bit more direct sunlight. It's always hard to tell. But, you know, when you have a graded book, you're not going to really notice the inside pages. That's why I never really understood people so obsessed with like the difference between off-white and white pages. I mean, if you have it encapsulated, you're never going to see the inside unless you crack it open, so what does it really matter? I mean, if there are brittle pages, I can understand that, because that can end up being damaged. But you could see the colors on this book really pop for a 5.0. So it is a 5.0. Again, this was a book I bought raw and graded myself. So I'll give it another 30 seconds, but the bidding starts at only $295 for this book. So if you are interested, this is your last chance during the live chat to be able to make a bid on this. Of course, if you are watching this later on, you can always contact me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com and say, I would like that book. All right, so here we go. Last chance if you want to place a bid. I think I've given people plenty of time to be able to look it up on eBay. And again, remember, eBay charges taxes. Going once, going twice, and no sale on this book. Again, not a problem. We'll get to the next book in a second, but I want to make sure I leave that information because there's always more and more people that show up during this live show. As of now, we have 6 people that hit the like button, so I want to thank those 6 people that were kind enough to do that, and we'll get to the next book next. And if you're just joining in, there are 3 books. One of them is a Holy Grail book that I added. It will be at the end of the regular auction that you saw on the sneak preview. So stick around for those, because trust me, they're going to be books that people are going to want. They're not cheap. But like I said, the last 3 books, I will allow a 6-month payment plan if you need it. No interest. And might be something to consider. But we're a little bit before that, so let's get to the next book. And again, make sure you're in live chat, not top chat. The way to switch that is look at the top left-hand corner, the area where you do your comments. You see all the comments scrolling. Go to the top. If it says top chat, just click that little arrow that's pointing down and click on live chat, and that will fix that. So let's put the video camera on and get to the next one. Bidding on this one starts at only $249. We've got Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 25. That is, ladies and gentlemen, the first appearance of Mary Jane. Keep in mind, it is a cameo, but it is her first appearance. It is graded by CBCS. So this is actually a book that, even though it's CBCS, no, I didn't grade this myself. I got this via a trade. So I don't know if they, I believe, but I could be mistaken, so I want to try and keep it as honest as I can. I believe they graded it themselves, but I cannot guarantee that, because obviously even if they said it, it doesn't mean that they were truthful about it. Who knows? But I did not grade this one. So was it pressed? I don't know. This was back when I was living in New York that I did the trade. But this is Amazing Spider-Man number 25. It has off-white to white pages, graded CBCS 5.5. As you can see, it's an older label, which I actually like their older labels. Cover art by Steve Ditko, story by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. So, again, it's the first appearance of Mary Jane Watson in cameo. Her face is hidden. First appearance of Professor Spencer Smith and the Spider Slayer. Book starts at only $249. You could see the coloring of this book. Now, since this is a CBCS book, it does not have grader's notes. But I will show, of course, the back. So the yellows pop in this. Spider-Man is in red. It's weird because the amazing part is like a dark red, almost to a brown color. But it was meant to be that way. Usually the Amazing Spider-Man, the whole thing is always the same color. On this particular book, it's 2 different colors, but that's by design. That's not like somebody colored it in or anything. But you could see the yellow of this book. So again, I encourage people, look on eBay. First appearance of Mary Jane Watson. Now remember, we haven't officially seen Mary Jane in the MCU yet. I mean, we have a person from another dimension that is called MJ, but she's not the MJ. And if you know the new comic, the one that's really going well that I recommended just the other day, what is it? The Ultimate Spider-Man, I believe it's called. What is it? Ultimate Spider-Man #1. Mary Jane Watson is Peter Parker's wife. So will they ever have that in the movies? Who knows? But remember, the real Mary Jane Johnson has not appeared in the MCU yet. So we'll give it another 30 seconds. I always want to make sure I give people time to look these up. And you can see $249 is a very fair price for this book. Jacob says, did anything not sell? So far, only one book has sold, and that was the Uncanny X-Men #130. I've only done 2 books before since this one, and those 2 have not sold yet. So Fantastic Four #18 and Strange Tales #107, neither one have sold. And we're going to do our countdown for this book, and we might have a third not sold. But again, if you're watching this later on, if you see this book and you see the opportunity to get this book, because remember, this is her actual first appearance, even though it is a cameo. Going once. Going twice. And no sale for that book. All right. So I'll hold on to that one, and we'll let that one continue to climb in price. So let's go to the next book. I believe I sold one of these because I couldn't find the other one, so I must have sold it in another auction. But for the Star Wars fans out there, we have the bidding starts at only $325. We got Kanan #1. This is a book that I bought raw, got graded myself, didn't even need a pressing, came back a 9.8 with white pages. This is the Plunkett variant. There's a lot of different first appearances in here, but the main one that people care about is Sabrine Wren. Keep in mind, with all the Star Wars stuff they do, they introduce new characters all the time. But this is an absolute must-have. Now, it does not have graders notes. 9.8s usually don't, which always makes you wonder then, how come if there's no graders notes, how come it's not a 9.9 or a 10? Just saying. But again, look up the price of this. This is definitely a key book for a Star Wars fan, especially at only $325. And again, you are not paying shipping. So go look on eBay, see what these have sold for and what they're selling for. And remember to add the eBay taxes. So if you want to bid, just write Kanan and then the bid $325. Or, of course, you can go higher if you want to, but why would you do that unless there was another person that was bidding? So there are no graders notes. So I'll give it a minute for people to look it up. Again, make sure you're in live chat and not top chat. Edges are smooth. All the corners are nice and pointy, which is what you want with a 9.8 book. I'll go all the way around. Colors pop. No color break increases at all. It doesn't even have those little, sometimes you see on this end, on both sides, and even you still can get 9/8 with these. You get that little bit that pops out. As you could see, they don't have those. So $325, Kanan #1 at a 9.8 with white pages. And you can see on the top one as well, it does not have the dent. Now that is actually on the bag, just so you see that you thought that might have been a color break increase. I'll show you. So that little bit that looked like a color break increase was actually on the bag. To see now all of a sudden it looks like it's a color break increase. So again, I'll remove the bag, and you can see it's no longer there. So I don't want anybody to be like, oh, look, they called it a 9.8, but look at that color break increase. That's just on the bag. All right, so give it another 30 seconds. $325 for, I believe this is a 1 in 10 variant or a 1 in 20 variant. So let's go over all the first appearances in case, because I'm not a huge modern day Star Wars fan, so I don't know all the characters. But first appearance of Kanan Jarrus, which of course would make sense, it's his book. Ezra Bridger, Chopper C1 10-10P, Hera, just say Hera, Gazib/Zed, and Aurelios in comics. That's probably why I should have just stuck with Sabrine Wren. Alright, last chance on this. Going once, 325, Kanan number 1, 9.8 with white pages. Going twice, and no sale on that one. See, me personally, I never get discouraged if stuff does not sell, because like I said, about 80 to 90% of the books that I sell get sold either beforehand with the sneak previews or afterwards from people that couldn't catch the live show. So if they don't sell here, that's quite all right. So the fact that I sold one already is actually a surprise to me, to be honest, because most people contact me like within 24 hours after the auction's been already done. All right, so let's get to the next one. We got a big boy comic here. This book, I got raw, graded myself, so you do not have to worry about any switcheroos or anything like that. So let's put the video camera back on. It's not showing it. Oh, there we go. Okay, so when you hear the price I'm starting this out with, I will be shocked if no one bids. As a matter of fact, this particular book, if it does not sell within 24 hours, this book will be taken off. The same with the next one. There might be a couple of them that I might give a 24-hour leeway. The rest of the books I'll give 1 week. But we got ourselves Ultimate Fallout number 4. This is the first print. This is a PGX 9.2 with white pages. First appearance of Miles Morales. It is just a matter of time with the Sony movies that they've been doing. It's a matter of time before he's in a live adaptation. Now, let's hope the live action gets done by the MCU and not Sony, because Sony, just for some reason, has forgotten how to make movies. Bidding starts at only $299. If you do not see an opportunity in this book, I don't know what to tell you. $299, 9.2, very minimal graders notes. Yes, drunk first Miles Morales, and it is the first print, by the way. The graders notes say multiple stress lines along the spine. So there's a little bit, you can't even see them, but it's probably along the edge. This book, if it does not sell here, first of all, I'll be shocked. And second of all, I'll give people 24 hours to contact me. But I'm starting the bidding at only $299 for the first appearance of Miles Morales in a 9.2. 9.8 is going for $1,000 and up. So I will give people a chance to look this up. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, there are no taxes on these books. So you're only paying for shipping and the price of whatever you're bidding on. The reason I'm selling this, I could easily hold on to it, and I'll be very happy to. The reason I'm selling one is the fact that I have about 10, well, I think I'm down to about 5 or 6 copies. Because I sold some, or actually gave one away one time, years ago. I actually gave somebody a random act of kindness. I gave them this book. Then I never heard from them again. What are you going to do? Alright, so give yourself a chance if you want to place a bid. Alright, so Daniel has made a bid. So he's making a bid at $320 for this book. So he's telling people he wants to keep others from getting it. So this book will be sold. So now the fact that it's over, well, actually it's still $5 increments, or you can go higher if you want to. Because this book is one of the modern day key books. And when they do, and this is what I mean, like I said, I've been preaching about this book, and those who watch my channel for years know this. I've been telling the people about this book for year and year and year. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when they do a live action of this comic. And again, I don't have to sell this book. I can easily sit on this book. Well, if I did, I'd crack it. But I could easily hold on to this book and wait for the live action for this to come out and make tons of money on it. So this is as close to a guarantee of a moneymaker than I can ever imagine. So I'm going to give people the opportunity to look this up. But this is going to sell, because right now we have Daniel at $320 for the first appearance of Miles Morales in a 9.2 white pages first print. And Jacob Morgan says averaging $400 on eBay. So like I say, I sell my books. I price them to sell. Even if you think it might seem expensive, go look. Because if the average is $400 on eBay, that means $400 plus about $25 to $30 in taxes on top of shipping costs. And this is already graded, and you know it was graded by me, which I have videos showing them all, so you don't have to worry about any switcheroo situations that are going on with other companies. So we got 30 seconds. Could Daniel be the only one that sees the potential of this book? Or is it, I was so good at telling people to get this book that now everybody has it and they don't need to acquire one? I'd like to think it's the latter. But if you don't know this is a guaranteed moneymaker, then, I mean, I'll be real, you shouldn't invest in comics. All right. Last call. Otherwise, Daniel is going to be another proud owner of a modern-day steal at $320 plus shipping. Going once. Going twice. Last call. And it is sold to Daniel for $320. Congratulations on that one. I am shocked that only one bidder bid on this. But I am Daniel. It couldn't have gone to a nicer person. So congratulations on that. So if you're watching this later on, well, that's the last Ultimate Fallout 4 I'll be selling for a long time, because the others I'm holding on to, waiting, because if only one person sees the potential, that means it's not the right time to be selling them. But very happy that it couldn't have gone to a nicer person. No offense to anybody else, I'm sure you're all wonderfully nice, but like I said, he's purchased more from me than anybody else. Nothing but a pleasure dealing with him, and many others, so I'm not going to lie about that. But yeah, congratulations, you got a great deal on that book. All right, let's get to the next one. This is another one I've been promoting for years. Now this is, I can't say one of a kind, obviously, but you're not going to find a lot like this. Again, this is a book I bought raw, I graded myself. But we've got Edge of Spider-Verse #2, first print at a 9.4, but wait, there's more. It is signed by Robbie Rodriguez, Rico Renzi, and Jason Latour. The bidding will start at only $499. So there are all three signatures. 9.4 with white pages. Now, it doesn't have greatest notes, because this was graded years back before I came up with the idea of greatest notes. So it does not have greatest notes on it. Go look this book up. I'm selling it for about what one would be without it being signed. And again, if you've been watching the Sony Into the Spider-Verse movies, this is another no-brainer. Because if Miles Morales, this is what I really think if they do the live version. If they do Miles Morales, they have to do Spider-Gwen. Because they had such a good chemistry together in the Sony movie, that it's just, again, a matter of time. Now, this is the first print. So go look this up, ladies and gentlemen. $499 for Edge of Spider-Verse #2, first print. Origin and first appearance of Spider-Gwen, a.k.a. Ghost Spider. Triple signed at a 9.4. Again, if this is another book, I will give 24 hours. If nobody bids now, I will give only 24 hours for somebody to ask about this book. Otherwise, I will put it back in my collection and watch it triple in price over the next couple of years. So I'll give people a chance to look it up on eBay. And again, it is signed by Robbie Rodriguez, Rico Ranzi, and Jason Latour. Now, Robbie Rodriguez did the art and cover, and Jason Latour did the story. So I don't know what Rico Renzi did. Maybe he did the cover. But I'll give you guys a chance. Make sure you're in the live chat. But this is another book. If it does not sell during this auction, which I will be shocked, but that's okay. Because trust me, these are books I'll be happy to sit on and watch them continue to grow in price. You're talking $499 for the first appearance of Spider-Gwen in a first print, triple signed. So if anybody wants to look these up, and it's 9.4 grade with white pages. So I'll give it about another 30 seconds. And then, like I said, if you're watching this later on, today, of course, is Sunday. So I will give it until Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time for somebody to contact me. Otherwise, this book will no longer be for sale. Again, because I have so many copies of this book, I don't have to sell this one, but I'm trying to sell things that people will see as basically close a guarantee of making money on than anything. But not everybody might see the spec vision that I have, and that's okay. All right, so this is the last chance. Edge of Spider-Verse number 2. First appearance of Spider-Gwen. Triple sign. 9.4 with white pages. $499 going once. Going twice. Junk Drunk, it's $499. It's triple signed. It's a 9.4 with white pages. It does not have grader's notes because when I got this graded a couple years back, that was before I came up with the idea of adding grader's notes. So you're talking $499 for the first appearance and first printing of Spider-Gwen, triple signed. And again, I'll show the signatures. This is a very hard comic to get in high grade because a lot of these books, you'd see a lot of like black or anything in this area because of the back of the book would actually rub off on this area. So this is a very hard book to get in like 9/8. Not impossible because I own 3. And that's why I don't mind selling one of these. And this is not my only triple signed version of this. All right. Going once. $499. Remember, you're not paying taxes. Going twice. And no sale. That one, my friends, I am actually shocked at. But I will give people up till 3 p.m. tomorrow. If you're watching this later or you change your mind while you're during the live show, you have 24 hours, 3 p.m. on Monday, the 19th, to contact me. Otherwise, I'm putting that one back in, and I'm going to watch it accumulate in value. And, well, it is what it is. Sometimes people don't see the same potentials as I do, or they're waiting for other books, and that's perfectly fine. Let's get to the next book. Bidding on this one starts at only $299. Again, this is a book I graded myself. It was purchased raw, so we got a higher grade. Conan number 1. First appearance of Conan in comic book form. It is cream to white pages. Not only is it the first appearance of Conan, but it's the first appearance of King Kull in a cameo. In my opinion, the cover's done by Barry Winsler Smith. In my opinion, this is his best artwork and best cover ever. I never really cared for all his covers in Valiant. I thought they were very generic at best. I mean, with the colors, I love the browns, the yellows, and the reds. This is just, to me, an iconic cover. I would consider this a classic cover. I don't know why they don't consider it a classic cover. But you're talking a higher grade book, 7.0, for only $299 starting bid. And of course, I will go over the greatest notes because it does have them. And again, take the time to look this up on eBay. With all the reboots and everything they do, it's just a matter of time before they try and put out another Conan movie. So let's read the greatest notes. We've got stains on the back cover, which is these two tiny little dots. That's the only thing on there. But it is what it is. It's still considered a stain, but it's not something that's covering the whole book. Multiple stress lines along the spine. Again, if I'm going to have any kind of flaws on a book, I'd love it to be along the edge. Cover and edge wear, browning, and browning interior cover. So there is a little bit of browning on the back. That's why you see cream to white pages. But again, I have several copies of this book. Russell Hall says that's one of the most known bronze keys. Yeah, like I said, I sell books that people want. I've seen so many live auctions where they're just selling generic books. I mean, yeah, if you're trying to complete a run, that's great. But I mean, if you're going to buy 100 books for $30, you basically, what, maybe double your money? It makes 60. If you're lucky, because many of them will just be generic throwaway books. I sell only key issues and things that people want. Well, apparently anyway. But many people might be just watching and might not be able to buy right now, so I completely understand, trust me. You know, I'm probably not the only unemployed person on the planet. But I'm only starting this bid at $299. I'm sorry, yeah, $299 plus shipping for a 7.0. And again, I bought this raw and I graded it myself. So I'll give people a minute to look this up. And remember, go on eBay, whatever the price is, you have to pay tax. So I absolutely love this cover. And it's another book, like all of these books. The ones that don't sell, I don't get upset. Because first of all, I sold enough to where I could sell nothing here on the auction. And I'd be fine. Because especially somebody bought some big boy books that were on the sneak preview. That basically helped pay some of my credit card bills. Not completely, but enough to where I don't have to worry for another 2 months or so. All right, last chance on this one. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is an auction. So if you want to place a bid, you can. But we've got Conan #1. Again, first appearance of Conan in comic book form. And the first appearance of King Kull in a cameo. Cream to white pages at a 7.0. Barry Winslow Smith artwork. Only $299. Going once. Going twice. And we have no sale. All right. So that one, like I said, unless I say otherwise, I give up to a week later, up until next Sunday for somebody, if they're watching it later on, to contact me if they're interested in that book at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. All right. And the hits keep on coming. Now we're getting into some more of the big boy comic territory. So let's get to the next book. Bidding will start at only $425. We have, and again, I have so many copies of this book, I do not mind selling one. X-Men number 94. This is when the X-Men start the new series, because remember, for about 20 or so issues, they were reprints. They almost went out. So if it wasn't for Giant Size X-Men #1, we probably wouldn't even remember what X-Men are or even care about them. But this is a 5.5, so mid-grade book, a little higher than mid-grade. Off-white to white pages. So this is the second appearance of the new X-Men, which includes Storm, Nightcrawler, Colossus, and Thunderbird. Colossus, by the way, is confirmed to be in the Deadpool movie. Who knows how many others will also be in the new Deadpool movie. It also has an Angel, Iceman, and Marvel Girl Resign. This is a Gil Kane cover, Chris Claremont, and Len Wein's story. But this is where the new X-Men take over the series. This is a must-own for the X-Men fan. And again, the bidding starts at only $425. You know the X-Men are coming because the X-Men 97 is not going to be all they're doing. But this is off-white to white pages. I just put the bag back over it. But, I mean, look at the colors. And I'll try and do it slowly. The colors on here really pop. So it's not faded. It's nice and bright. Especially for a 5.5 grade. This is another book that I don't mind sitting on. So this will be the rest of the books. Well, no, I won't say the rest. But this book, I'm going to do the same thing about 24 hours. So somebody will have 24 hours to be able to get this if nobody bids here. So we got a 5.5 X-Men number 94. Price starts at $425. And I'll show the back once again. You can see no coupons cut, no tears, no writing. We don't go lower than what the bidding starts at, my friend. I appreciate that, but I'll hold on to it if I can't get the lowest amount. But I appreciate that, Daniel. Books like this, I mean, they're to the point where they'll double and triple. So I appreciate that, but I got to go with the minimum bids because, trust me, at the price I'm selling it for, people are going to make money. So I'm sure you'll understand. All right. Give people a chance to look it up on eBay. There are no graders notes on this particular one because, again, like the other one, this is a book I got graded years ago. So it was before the graders notes was a thing. So if you want to look up the prices of these books, and again, don't base, like I tell people all the time when it comes to investments, don't base things on where they were. Don't base things on where they are. Base things on where they're going to be. So we're going to have the X-Men coming soon, and there are rumors there's going to be eventually the Avengers versus the X-Men. What do you think that's going to do to the value of books like this? Do you think it's going to A, lower in value, B, stay the same in value, or C, go up in value? So this is a book, if it does not sell here, I will give 24 hours. Otherwise, I will gladly put this one down and wait for the X-Men movies to come out. Now, I'm not talking about the X-Men 97, because even if that was a great cartoon, it's a cartoon. I'm talking when the X-Men get to the live action. All right, so going once. Going twice. $425 for X-Men 94. I'm surprised, but that's okay. No sale. So if you're watching this later on, or if you're watching it live and you change your mind, I will give 24 hours for somebody to make a bid on that. Unfortunately, I just can't take lower than the 425. So that would be the minimum. But, you know, there might be more. I've had on occasion when more than one person contacted me about a book, and it would be whoever ends up making the best offer. But within 24 hours, if it's not bid on, that one's going back in my collection, and I'll just sit on it and sell it when it's a $1,000 book. And remember, when they get popular, it's weird to me. When this book's at $4.90, people won't pounce. But I guarantee you, if the X-Men movie comes out later on and the X-Men vs. Avengers happens and the X-Men and Disney finally gets their poop together and all of a sudden the X-Men are in high demand and that book goes up to a $1,000 book, I'll have 30 people trying to outbid each other for it. It's interesting how that works, but unfortunately most people base things on emotion, which I try and restrain people from doing. But that's okay. You know, if you don't have the money for it or you're trying to wait for a bigger book, completely understand. And hey, if you have it, that's great. All right, we got another big boy book. I have 2 copies of this book, so I do not mind selling one. It's another big boy book starting at $649. So the prices are going up from here, ladies and gentlemen. But remember, any book that's $599 and up, you can now use the 4-month payment plan. The last 3 that I mentioned earlier that were not in the original 20 books that I listed, 18 books that I listed, you can get up to 6 months no interest if you need to. But this book, if you need it, you can use the up to 4-month payment plan, because anything over $599 and up allows that to happen. So this one starts at $649. It's a 2.0, lower grade, but, you know, just because something's lower grade doesn't make it not valuable. We got Amazing Spider-Man number 6. That is the first appearance of the Lizard, ladies and gentlemen. Off-white pages. This is another book I bought raw and graded myself. So it does have grader's notes, so I will go over it. So if you want to take time to look on eBay for this book, trust me when I say, if you think $649 is a high price, that is the lowest on eBay without taxes. Because remember, even if I sold one at the same exact price, you have to pay taxes from eBay. So this is the first appearance of the Lizard. $649. So I'll give people an opportunity to look it up on eBay, but let's read the grader's notes, because, I mean, it is a lower grade. But say it with me, low grade is better than no grade. Multiple stress lines along the spine. Notice the theme with me in my books. Several edge tears, moderate cover, edge and spine wear. 2.5 to 1.5 chip in front cover. 1/4 of an inch of tear on the top spine. Corner crease on back cover. All to be expected with a book that's a 2.0. This came out in 1963. It is the origin and first appearance of the Lizard. It is a Stan Lee story. Steve Ditko art and cover. So the major part is, what they were talking about, is there's a piece about half of a silver dollar that's missing in the cover. Otherwise, this would have been a much higher grade, but it doesn't matter, because obviously you're going to have issues with something that's in low grade. But, you know, not everybody can afford a higher grade book, because if you think a 2.0 is expensive, try seeing what this book goes for in an 8.0 or a 9.0. Cash Cow Occupation says, if it goes unsold, would I still be able to contact you later with the 4-month? Yes. If any book that's $599 or up, even after the auction, because this book I will give somebody up to a week to decide, any of these books will still retain the 4-month payment plan if you need it. Because basically the reason I do that is, you know, not everybody, you know, somebody might be working right now, or somebody had some family obligation or a party on the weekend. So I don't assume that everybody watching are going to be the only people that may have wanted to purchase a comic. So I always extend the courtesy for anywhere from 24 hours up to a week later to give other people the opportunity that may not have been able to see it live. So all advantages that I give to people on the live show will also be available after this auction is closed. So absolutely, Cash Cow, if you want to contact me within the week and you need the 4-monthly payment program, no problem with that. So the bidding starts at $649. You can use the 4-month payment plan, but remember, you have to make the initial deposit within 24 hours of saying you want to get it. So remember, there's also no taxes. So just imagine if you're buying a $650 book on eBay, you know, that's probably about $40 in taxes extra. I don't charge that here. So last opportunity, if you want to own not only an early Spider-Man, but a key issue of Spider-Man. First appearance of Dr. Connors, a.k.a. the Lizard, 2.0, off-white pages, $649 going once. Amazing Spider-Man number 6 going twice. And we have no sale on that one. So Cash Cow or anybody else, if you have interest in that book, and it's before next Sunday, because today's the 18th, so 7 days from the 18th would be the 25th. So if you contact me before then and you do need the payment plan, Cash Cow says how much needed for a deposit. It would be the first month's payment. So the deposit would be the first month payment. So whatever the price is that you offer, because remember, I might have multiple people that ask for that book. So it would be $649. So whatever 1/4 of that would be the initial deposit for it. But you can always contact me afterwards, because I'll be checking my emails after. Because like I said, there's many a time before this night's over, I'll have somebody contact me. So basically, the earlier you do it, the better chances of you potentially getting the book. So again, with a payment plan, you just need the first payment, which is 1/4 of whatever the total is, and the shipping, if it's domestic, is only $19.99. If it's international, if you live anywhere outside the continental 48 states, because remember, they charge extra for Hawaii and Alaska, but international shipping would be $49.99. But we'll be well protected. All right, let's get to the next book. This is a book that you will not find anywhere else. This is a one-of-a-kind book. The bidding on this starts at $999. Now, when you see the actual comic, you're going to be like, well, what's the big deal? It's not the comic that brings it to value. So I'll show you. So this one, there's no sense of looking it up on eBay because you're not going to find anything to compare it to. So this is Wolverine Origins issue number 9 at a 9.4. But here is where the value comes from. It has not only the co-creators, both co-creators of Wolverine, Len Wein and Herb Trimpe, as signatures. It has Dan Kemp, Dan Way, Steve Dillon, and Joe Quesada. And here's the big boy part. They call this a remark, but this is a sketch. There's no way this is a remark. Herb Trimpe not only signed it, but did about half the page, half of the comic. Because here's the whole comic. But from here to here is a sketch of Wolverine with his claws. Remarks are supposed to be like a little doodle, like when, like Adam Hughes does a side view of Spider-Gwen or something. He does 2 eyes and a little bit of a hood and one little, like, a V-shape for the lips. That is not a remark. And again, you could see he's got his full arm with his claws extended. And by the way, both the co-creators... Yeah, I was just about to say, both Len Wein and Herb Trimpe, the co-creators of Wolverine, are both deceased. So you could never get something like this ever again. So not only is it signed by multiple people, it is signed by the co-creators of Wolverine, which, by the way, is in Deadpool 3 and will continue to go on from there. But you have an artist who is deceased, the co-creator of Wolverine, did a quarter of a page of a sketch. Well, a less than quarter of a page. But as far as lengthwise, it goes half the distance of the comic book. Because here's the tip, and here's the bottom of the quote-unquote remark. And there's the whole entire book. So this is something you cannot look up because no one else has this. So for people that talk about wanting to buy rare pieces, this is a one-of-a-kind piece that you could never have done again. $999 for the chance to own signatures. And again, I'll go over the signatures. Doesn't not have greatest notes because, again, I bought this back when I lived in New York. Again, I bought this raw and had it graded and confirmed with the signatures. But this is a 9.4. It has white pages. It's signed and remarked by Herb Trimpe. I consider that a sketch. That's not a remark. But it's signed by also signed by Dan Kemp, Len Wein, who is the co-creator of Wolverine, also deceased, Dan Way, Steve Dillon, and Joe Quesada. So $999, I think, is a very good deal for multiple signatures, the co-creators of Wolverine, and a large sketch done by Herb Trimpe. This is a book I will give, again, 24 hours. If it does not sell, this is going back in my collection. To be able to pay bills, sometimes you have to sell books you don't want to sell, and you have to sell stuff that people want. Now, whether anybody else sees the value in it like I did, that remains to be seen. So, we're going to go down 30 seconds. I'll show the back of the book. But like I said, it has nothing to do with the actual comic. It has to do with the fact that the co-creators signed it. Huge sketch, but it has also 4 other signatures. $999 going once, going twice, All right, so no sale on that one. So I will give people, and again, you can use the 4-month payment plan on that if you're interested in it, because even if you get this later on, I will give people 24 hours. So you have until a little bit after 3 o'clock tomorrow, if you're watching this later on and it's no longer live, to contact me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. And that book could be yours if the price is right. All right, so let's get to the next book. Now, the movie that this person was in pretty much bombed, which lowered this price dramatically. But the person in this comic is the one bright light in that horrible movie. I mean, I didn't watch it, but every review I saw, they said the same thing about this one character. So if you know anything about investing, you buy low and sell high. If you don't see the potential right now for this book, and again, I have 2 copies, I do not mind selling it. This is another 24-hour sell. So don't let the bad movie fool you. This is a very desired book. Let's show it. So this starts out at $899. At its peak, this was selling for $5,000 or $6,000. So I don't have to sell this now. This is a CGC book, but this was back when I lived in New York. I sent this to CGC myself. I had 2 copies. This is before I even knew about pressings. Neither one of them were pressed. And it still came back a 9.8. So you don't have to worry about a CGC switcheroo on this one, because they were 2 books of mine. I sent these in myself back around 2016, before I even knew pressings were a thing. Now, I'm not saying a pressing would bring it to a 9.9 or anything. It probably just didn't need a press. But this is Captain Marvel number 17. This is the second print. Only 1,000 of these copies are in existence. And of those 1,000 copies, how many of them are 9.8s? Like I said, this book, a couple years ago, was about a $4,000 to $6,000 book in a 9.8 CGC. But because the movie bombed and the TV show bombed, people stopped buying it. But this is never going to go to zero. I'm actually selling this at one of the lower points. And yeah, I'll be the first to admit it, Junk. He says the show was terrible. I watched 1 episode. It was unwatchable. Couldn't watch anymore. And that's actually when I got rid of my Disney Plus after that. I was like, screw screw Disney. Screw them hard. So, but remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I tell people all the time, people base things on emotion. You know, there are so many people that complain, oh, the price of a book is so high. And yet when the price goes down, now no one wants to touch it. So I'm giving 24 hours to this, and I'll just wait for this to rebound. Because like I said, I didn't watch the Marvels movie. I'm not about to support Disney with their agendas. But from the reviews that I was hearing from people I trust, everybody said that her character was the bright light in what was really a dark, stupid movie. This is the time to buy the book. It's when the prices have gone down. Buy low and sell high. So 24 hours, if no one sees the specialty in this, if you're going to base it just on the show, then that means that people never really cared anything about it other than the movie value. So second printing, it is the first appearance. It's it predates all new, what is it? All new Marvel Now Part 1. I mean, Point 1. It's a ridiculous title they had on that book. And predates Miss Marvel number 1. Second printing, only 1,000 of these exist. And I doubt all 1,000 were 9.8s. So I'm only selling it for $899. Within 24 hours, if nobody bids on it, this will go back in my collection. I'll wait a couple of years and watch this one go back up. But like I said, this book at one point was selling between $4,000 and $6,000. If you don't see a buying opportunity and you see it as, well, it's low, I'll just wait for it to go lower. You know, this is not like a stock. It does not go to zero. It will reach a certain point where people will see it and purchase it. So, going once, going twice, and people did not see the opportunity in that one, and that's quite all right. So, if you're watching this later on, You have 24 hours, so you have until Monday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon to contact me about that book. If you see the potential of that book and seeing that it has reached, in my opinion, the lowest point. So I'm actually trying to sell certain books at its lowest points. I could have easily have sold it when it was $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. But hey, sometimes you take chances. All right, so we got 2 more books left, and then the 3 that I did not even talk about or show on the sneak preview that I just decided to add today. And all 3 of those are the big boy books. But let's get through these last 2. And make sure, again, if you're just tuning in, make sure you're in the live chat and not the top chat. Because otherwise I might not see if you placed a bid or anything. So the way to look at that is if you see the area where you're doing your, you see all the scrolling from the chat, the top left-hand corner of that little box, if it says top chat, click on that little arrow and hit live chat. So right now, 18 people were kind enough to hit the like button. So I want to thank those people so far. 30 people are watching, so more than half of you were kind enough to hit that like button. But let's get to the remaining 2, and then we'll do the last 3 that no one knows about. All right, so we got some Golden Age. The last 2 are Golden Age comics. This one I bought already graded. I bought this probably in 2016, 2017, so years ago. It is a CGC book, graded a 3.0. Bidding starts at $999, so this would qualify for the 4-month payment plan if you need it. So we have All-Star Comics, issue number 12. And we see Wolverine on the cover. Now, her first appearance was All-Star Comics number 8. That's a comic I would love to have, but a coverless book would probably cost you about $5 to $10 grand. So this is a very early appearance of Wolverine. Wolverine. That would be a very early appearance of Wolverine if he was in there. But for very early appearance of Wonder Woman, but there is some significance. This is a CGC 3.0. It's in an older label, so you don't have to worry about everybody that switched them out with those newer labels. Light tan to off-white pages. So like I said before, I've seen CGC books that have like cream to white pages, and some people are confused about that. But this is from CGC, light tan to off-white. Now, the significance of this book. This came out in 1942. There's not going to be many of them to be able to look up. But Wonder Woman becomes Secretary of the Justice Society of America. And there is a full-page ad for Wonder Woman number 1. So, if you are like me and cannot afford the first appearance of Wonder Woman, well, this is pretty close to the next best thing. And it does have some significance to it. So I'm only selling this. I'll give people up to a week on this one. Because, I mean, I can't have everything 24 hours because somebody might not be able to available today to look at my video. But you're talking a very early appearance of Wonder Woman, who is right there on the cover. It is a 3.0 CGC, old label. Wonder Woman becomes the Secretary for the Justice Society of America. And there's a full-page ad for Wonder Woman number 1. So there are some minor key things going on here. But, you know, Golden Age book that would be definitely worthy of acquisition for those who know the potential value of Golden Age books. So this is $999. Now, just imagine if you saw this on eBay for $999. The taxes would probably be about $60. No taxes here. So the only other thing you're paying for is shipping, which would be $19.99 domestically and $49.99 internationally. And again, you can use the 4-month payment plan for this book. And look at the colors. This is a thicker book. So for a book basically about 80 years old, not bad condition. And look, back in the days when you can actually buy firearms through mail order when you were a kid. Now, those are BB guns, of course. So I'll give it a chance if people see the potential in this to look it up. But you're not going to see many of these for sale. So All-Star Comics number 12. Wonder Woman becomes Secretary of the Justice Society. And there is an ad for Wonder Woman number 1. Is it a full-page ad? Yeah, full-page ad for Wonder Woman number 1. Obviously, I'm not going to crack it open to show it to you. Going once. Going twice. And no sale on that one. That's all right. So I'll give people up till next Sunday to be able to contact me about that book if they are interested in purchasing it. If you need the payment plan, let me know, because any book from $599 and up can allow the purchase of the 4-month payment plan, no interest. So take advantage of that if you need it. And obviously, if you have to, if you want to pay earlier, you can, because basically the earlier you pay for it, the faster you get the book. All right, so this one will be the last one of the regular 18 books that you saw. Like I said earlier, 4 of the books had already sold before the auction started. But we got another Golden Age book. It's another All-Star Comics. All-Star Comics number 6. This is graded. This is another book I bought raw and graded myself. Does have graders notes, so I will read them. It's a 3.5 with off-white to white pages, which is amazing from a book from 1941. The bidding on this starts, again, like the other, only $999. And I'll read the significance. So this is before Wonder Woman. So there are some minor significances. Johnny Thunder joins the Justice Society of America. Dr. Midnight text story. And Flash becomes an honorary member. So, in this book, the Flash joins the Justice Society of America for the first time. So, everybody knows who the Flash is. And I'll show the back, filled with coupons. And I will read the grader's notes. But $999 at a 3.5. Now, the centerfold is missing, and it does affect the story. So, I want to make sure people know about that. And that's why I'm selling it as low as I am. Because of that. This is an expensive book. Because you have, again, I doubt there's ever going to be a Johnny Thunder movie. But the fact that the Flash joins the Justice Society, he starts out as an honorary member, but that's the first time he ever joins. That's pretty significant. So $999. Let's read the grader's notes. I mean, you can look this up, but there's not many for sale. I don't even think any have been, I don't know if any of them has been sold. But multiple stress lines along the spine. That to me is a no-brainer for a book that's about 80 years old. Moderate cover, edge, and spine wear. Corner crease on the front cover. Spine roll. Several edge tears. You know, back in the days, people bought these books to read. But you're talking a book from 1941. Look at the colors. How they pop on this book. This is a display book. And again, I'll give people that are watching this later on or change their mind during the live show, I'll give you up till next Sunday, so a week, if you see the value of this book. 3.5 is not a bad grade. Going once. Going twice. And no sale. All right, so far we've only sold 2 books. Well, at least on the live show. But like I said, like 80 or 90% of my sales happen before or after the live show. So, you know, it is what it is. So there are 3 books left. These 3 are big boy books. I will allow up to a 6-month payment plan if you need it. No interest. Let's get these parties started. All 3 of these. And the last one is a Grail book. It's a low-grade Grail. But a high-grade grail, you're spending tens of thousands of dollars on. I happen to have 2 copies of it, so I do not mind selling it. This one I only have 1 copy of, but, like, you know, you gotta sell something that people want. So the first book, the price on this, I'm starting at only, and believe it or not, only. You're going to hear the price, you'll be like, oh, wow, that's only? Well, I'm starting it at $1,999. We got Journey into Mystery, number 85. I graded this, well, not myself, but I bought it raw, sent it in to get graded myself. So this is not a book you have to worry about something switching it. This is a 4.0. It has off-white pages from 1962. If you're not familiar with Journey into Mystery 85, let me tell you all of the significance. It is the first appearance of Loki. It is the first appearance of Heimdall. The first appearance of Asgard. And the first appearance of Odin in a cameo. It's a big boy book. Now, of course, I will read the greatest notes. Now, the greatest notes, this is when I first brought up the idea. So this is before they perfected it. So the greatest notes you could see, because they originally had the PGX label in the center. So it's kind of a little all over the place. But that's when they first started it and they were experimenting. But the greatest notes are on here. I'm almost giving this away at that price, believe it or not. Not restored. Complete. No tears, no missing pages. The first appearance of Loki, which isn't done, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm not going to spoil the Loki season 2, but he's not done. This book, I'm giving, these last 3 I'm giving 24 hours. And if no one sees the potential in these, well, I'm just going to hold on to him and watch him continue to go up over the years. Look this up. Now, remember, if you saw this for the same price on eBay for $19.99, first of all, you're not, because I sell these lower. That's probably about another $200 in taxes on this book. Between $150 and about $150 to about $180 in taxes. So you'd be spending about almost $200 extra, even if you saw this for the same price on eBay. But you're not, because I sell these lower than the lowest one would sell on eBay. And I don't even have taxes. So this is Journey into Mystery 85. I will allow a 6-month payment plan on this book if you need it. That is with no interest, ladies and gentlemen. 4.0 with off-white pages. If you do not see the value in this one, I can't help you, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I understand there are going to be people that just may not have that money to be able to spend, even with the payment plan. I understand that. Trust me. But if you have the capability of buying a book like this, how many places can you go with, 1, not having to pay taxes, 2, have a payment plan, and 3, have it lower than what anybody else is selling it for on eBay? So I'm going to give another 30 seconds, but I will read the greatest notes on it. But I want you to see the back as well. There's no tears. A lot of the damage is along the spine. But again, look at the colors on this book. It's because there's so many spine creases on the spine is why it got a low grade that it has. But go look up what a 0.5 of this book sells for. So let's read the greatest notes. And again, I'll give people 24 hours to think about it. After that, I'm putting this back in, and I'm never going to sell this not for a long time. But multiple creases and stress lines along the spine, like I mentioned. Multiple edge tears, staining, spine tear at the top, staple tears at the bottom. So, it's a red book. Not the color red, but you know what I mean. And there's the quote-unquote stain. It's this one little spot right there. So it's a big boy book. It's going to stay a big boy book. 24 hours after here, this will no longer be for sale. Again, I will allow up to 6 months to pay for it, no interest. Going once. Going twice. And no sale on that one. All right, so 24 hours, and that book is no longer going to be for sale. Last two. Bidding on this one starts at $2,499. I bought this one back in 2016. It's still in the original old label. The reason I am selling it so cheap, and I'll explain why. But again, if you don't know the potential of this one, I can't help you. So we've got New Mutants 98. First appearance of Deadpool. What's about to come out? Deadpool 3. Do you think that's a one-and-done character, or do you think that's going to be something that's going to be continuing in the MCU for a long time? It is a CGC 9.8, signed by the great and deceased Stan Lee. Now, the reason I am selling it for so cheap, when I moved from New York to Florida, 2 of my cases got cracked. Both of them were CGC cases. One of them was the X-Men number 3, and this was the other one. So there is, yeah, it's on this side. There's a little crack in the case right here and a little bit over here. But that happened when I moved. There's Stan Lee's signature. It has white pages. This is yellow label, which means it was witnessed. This book will continue to go up. There are so many people that say, oh, it's got such a high print run. If you think that a print run is what determines value of a book, then you don't know as much as you think you know. Because if there's 1 million copies and 2 million people want it, well, there's a 1 million copy deficit, which means 1 million people will have to outbid one another to acquire one. So it does not matter the print run, which, by the way, this print run is not as big as people think. The print run total of New Mutants 98 is between 225,000 to 250,000 copies. How many of those are graded a 9.8? And out of those, how many have been signed by the late, great Stan Lee? I would say maybe 100. So I am selling this book for only $2,499. Print run has nothing to do with value. Now, of course, if this was the only one left in existence, then yeah, this book is going to be probably $20,000, $30,000. But it's not. But I guarantee you, especially with the movie looking as good as it looks like it's going to, because I don't think they're going to mess up Deadpool. Because if they do that, the confidence in Disney will be gone. If they tried to agenda-driven, if they used an agenda-driven narrative with Deadpool, basically at that point everybody will give up on Marvel. So they're not screwing it up. And you could see by the trailer, that doesn't look like it's going to happen. For me to sell this at this price, like I said, the reason I'm selling it for that price is because when I moved, I actually put this in my car, and my car was on an angle. So this book and the X-Men number 1 were both in the front of a plastic. It wasn't in a regular cardboard CGC holder. It was in one of those more expensive plastic ones. And because I didn't realize it at the time, but the car, I wasn't driving it. I hitched it to a trailer, and it was like this on an incline. So the books were leaning like this. So all the books compressed, and the 2 CGC books got a little cracks. So that's why I'm selling it for as low as I'm selling it. Go look this up, ladies and gentlemen. And remember, even if somebody had a New Mutants 98 at a 9.8 signed by Stan Lee for the same price, you're probably spending $300 or $400 extra in taxes. There are no taxes here. And I am allowing up to a 6-month payment plan for this one. This one is another book that I am only going to sell for 24 hours. And again, ladies and gentlemen, I got this back in 2016. It still has the old label, and it's still signed. It is a 9.8. It's not one of the switcheroo comics. So if this does not sell within 24 hours, I am going to watch this book continue to go up, and I'm going to hold on to it. The reason I'm selling it now is if somebody is smart enough to buy it, I will be able to pay more bills and maybe get a couple of extra comics, because I have probably 6 or 7 copies of this book. So I do not mind. This is the highest and most valuable one I own, and I'm willing to sell it. So if you want to have a chance to own New Mutants 98 without having to pay taxes, signed by Stan Lee. When did Stan Lee sign it? Signed by Stan Lee. Geez, I need glasses. Give me a second. I gotta zoom in. Oh, I don't even know. It's 4/25/2015. So this was signed and witnessed on April 25th of 2015. There's his signature right in the middle. Go look up this comic. Because again, it's, you know, when you're talking like the X-Men #1, the 90s series, they had an 8 million print run. The average print runs in the 90s for popular books were between 2 and 4 million. This book, at its maximum, because they set a range, is at 250,000 copies. It was a range between 225,000 and 250,000 copies. How many of those do you think are 9.8s that are signed by Stan Lee witnessed? You're not talking tens of thousands. You're talking in the hundreds. So when you get a book, you want the rarest of the rare. The absolute rarest would be a signed Lee Stan book, 9.8 with a Mark Jewelers variant. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? That's a $12,000 to $14,000 book. A newsstand variant of this is about a $5,000 book. This is the next best thing. So this is your last opportunity. And again, I'll give 24 hours after this is over. So somebody will have until 4 o'clock tomorrow to contact me for a New Mutants 98 9.8 grade witnessed signature of Stan Lee with white pages. And the only reason I'm selling it for $24.99, and that's $2,499, is when I moved, this case got cracked a little bit. You could see the crack a little bit right there, and it's a little bit along here. So it cracked, being crushed here, and it did like a little, you know, like if you ever saw ice crack, but it doesn't go all the way through. And it doesn't spread down the whole thing. So it's not like you could take out anything. But I want to make sure I am fully disclosing that information. So this is your last chance, and then we'll go on to the last one. If this doesn't sell, I mean, I don't know if the other one will sell because it's going to be a lot more expensive. But, you know, if you got to spend money to make money. Going once. Going twice. And we have no sale. So that one, ladies and gentlemen, within 24 hours, if nobody bids on it and makes a claim on it, it will no longer be for sale. So you have until 4 p.m. Eastern Time by tomorrow, Monday, if you're watching this, to be able to buy it. All right, so I'm not sure anyone will be able to, well, I can't say I'm not sure if people can afford this one, but this is the most expensive book that I have ever put on an auction for sale. I am going to basically, even when you hear the price, I'm going to be giving it away. Because I'm actually selling this for cheaper than what an incomplete, no-graded version of this copy is selling for. This book is a grail. I will allow a 6-month payment plan, but the bidding starts at $3,799. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a restored grade. It has a facsimile cover, but it is complete. And like I said, there is right now on eBay an incomplete copy of this book labeled NG for no grade, selling for $3,800. I'm selling a complete version, CGC 0.5. I bought this in 2017. Fantastic Four #1. I will go over what's wrong with it. This is a facsimile cover. Has the back, but it is a wrong cover. So somebody actually, this was a coverless book. They put on a wrong back cover. But restoration includes, like I just said, back cover is attached with glue. Tear seals to centerfold. Centerfold reinforced. The front cover is a color copy. And wrong back cover. So because of the fact that it has a cover on the back, even though it's the wrong one, they gave it a 0.5. Light tan to off-white pages. First appearance of the Fantastic Four. Like I said, there is a coverless with no cover on it. Not even a facsimile. That is incomplete, which affects the story. That they are selling for $3,800. I'm selling a completed version of this book. This is the time to buy this book. It is not going to go further down in price. Because the Fantastic Four, what do you think's going to happen when they show the first trailer? Even at a teaser trailer. This to me is a no-brainer. And I, again, will give 24 hours. Because if you think this is expensive now, you know, good luck getting this book as this book gets older and older and as these movies come out. Coverless books are for people who want a grail that can't afford a grail. Because, like, for example, Batman #1. One page of that book will cost you about $1,000. Detective Comics #27. A page of that book can sell to $2,000 to $5,000. A coverless, complete book of Action Comics #1 will probably cost you about 10 grand. So I can understand there are people like, oh, I would never buy a comic like this. They don't see the potential because remember, as these get more and more expensive, less and less people can afford. So you want one of the lower grades because you'll get more people to be able to still afford it. Because who wouldn't want a 9.0 of this book? But do you have about $300,000 to be able to afford one? So this is the only time I am going to sell this book until I'm ready to retire. Even though I'm unemployed and want to make a living selling comics, technically I am retired. But you know what I mean. When I finally have enough money to sell these to buy our forever home, this will be the last time this is for sale. If you cannot see the value in this, I can't help you. $3,799 for this book is a good price for a key grail like this. But I can understand that people want higher grades, but you know, you get in a higher grade, you're spending $5, $7 for a 1.0. You can do that, but you got to go with what you can afford. So, this is the last call on this, and like I said, if no one sees the interest in this, I will give 24 hours, so they have until 4 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow to contact me. Otherwise, that is no longer going to be for sale. So, Fantastic Four #1, CGC, 0.5 grade. Going once. Going twice. And we have no sale. Alright, so, if you're watching this later on, if you're interested in that book, you have 24 hours to contact me. In the meantime, I want to thank the 2 people that purchased the books that they purchased, and I want to thank everybody for watching. Like I said, most of my books sell either before or after the auction, so I'm not concerned, but I did sell 2 books today, so I'm perfectly fine with that. I could have sold none and I would have still been fine considering what I sold beforehand. So if you're watching this later on, please contact me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com and say I sold one for sale. And even, well, I'll tell you honestly, the 2 books that got sold, both of them I dealt with before, so they're gone. They're not going to end up being brought back. But you could still ask because you never know. But I want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch. Remember, the reason that I sell these is to help pay my bills, so I can, take some of the pressure off my wife and everything. So any sales definitely helps to do that. And any extra money I use to buy books to keep making the videos you guys say that you love. So thanks for the support. And if you could at least hit the like button on your way out, that'd be great. Let me know what you think about the AI art. And don't forget, it's not you, it is not I, it is We Love Comics. Thanks for watching, everybody.